Hello, I'm Christina Booth from Magenta and the She production, Camora, and you're watching Live Prog.
Hello there! Welcome again to Live Prog. As you know, I'd like to record most of my reviews standing in front of, well, my CD collection. And only you can see, of course, a bit of it, but it's obvious. I have a lot of CDs. I like music. I've been collecting music for many years. Well, ever since I discovered progressive rock, actually. But despite the fact that I have a fairly large collection of music, I still have a lot of musicians, a lot of bands that are missing. And of course I know a lot of them, but I don't always have the opportunity to get them. Now, one such band that was missing from my collection, and I heard a lot of good about, was Magenta. Well, that's a real shame, because I heard that Magenta is a really good band. So I was curious and I was looking for a way, I gotta have something. Now, it started a little bit with this one, Camera by Clive Nolan, where Christina Booth plays a very large part in. So that was a little bit of my introduction to the vocalist of Magenta. Then I got an opportunity for this one, the solo album of Christina Booth. So I was getting closer. But we're finally there. Here it is. Magenta, Chameleon. Story behind this album. When I was, looking for a way to get my hands on a Magenta album, they announced the release of Chameleon, but they didn't announce it just as a new album. No, they did it a little bit special, because you could sign up for it on the website and you could pre-order the album in the regular version or a bit of a more deluxe version, which also came with a DVD with the entire album in 5.1 mixed with some bonus materials as well. And the nice thing was that in the period towards the release of the album, they would release some tracks, non-album tracks, and some other nice things, some videos. And you could also, start your own remix, because they included from one of the tracks of the album, Glitter Ball, the first track. They gave all the different sections, so you could make your own remix. Now, of course, that was very nice. I tried my hand, but I'm a reviewer, not a sound engineer, so I'm gonna stick with telling you about this album. Of course, I don't think Magenta really needs an introduction, but for those of you who maybe are like me and are not familiar with Magenta or don't have any of their music, Magenta was formed in the early 2000s by Rob Reed and Christina Booth. And Rob Reed was already, had a big history in music. One of the bands he worked in was Cyan. And that is a band that I knew from the old SI music compilation discs. A couple of discs that I got when I first discovered progressive rock.
I believe without shame, this desire, I will lay my life down without fire. There's no flame without you. There's no way of showing if this life is so divine, it's worth the sacrifice. Please don't tell me.
Next to Rob Reed and Christina Booth, Chris Fry, the guitar player, they formed the core of Magenta. Now, they released a couple of albums, and as you can understand, I'm not familiar with them, so I cannot compare this one to the others. Oh, here you have them, by the way, with the track listing. There you go. Now, what can I say about this album? I enjoyed it. It's a very good album, but it has a very modern sound. don't expect any neo-prog like Cyan used to create. It's completely different. At least this album is, you know. I'm only talking about Chameleon. It's a very modern, very driven, compact sound. 9 tracks on it, and I gotta say, they're nine great tracks. Really beautiful stuff. One of my favorite tracks is Turn the Tide, because that has a little bit of a different atmosphere than the others. Has extremely beautiful vocals by Christina. Has these really nice spacey keyboards that I really enjoy. When I was listening to it, it's like you hear an alien whistle, you know, something like that. It's real strange, but very good, and an amazing guitar part by Chris Frog. There's one shorter song, which is called Reflection. It's about 2 minutes, and it's a bit of an instrumental acoustic song. Very beautiful also, but you know, a little bit different as well. But altogether, you know, Rob Reed is an amazing songwriter. Chris Fry is an amazing guitar player. Christina is an amazing singer. And turning back to Rob Reed, he's also an amazing keyboard player. He also plays bass guitar on the album, and I have to look because they have a little bit of information on the back here, on the inside, and they have Kieran Bailey on drums on this one. Now, they have the CD, so, well, I gotta say, my first taste of Magenta felt really good, and I will definitely be interested in looking back to their other albums as well, and hopefully, of course, because to new work. Because when I was reading about Chameleon, it turned out that when Rob Reed wrote the album, or wrote the songs which eventually would become Chameleon, he also wrote a couple of other songs, and he noticed that there were 2 different kinds of atmospheres, different kinds of feelings to those songs. So there's a chance that, you know, one day soon the other songs also will be released, and we have a new Magenta album, and well, be sure that I will get that one as well, because I got the taste of Magenta and it tastes definitely like more. So all I can say is, well, if you're familiar with Magenta, you'll probably have it. If you're not familiar with Magenta, I can definitely very much recommend this album. Definitely listen to it. It's a very modern song, but it's a very well written album. Well, musicians are great, so, well, what more do you want?